So the losses mean everything to me, right? So today we're just gonna do a review. Um, and we're gonna go over the losses, right? Discipline issues I had. Now the losses, whatever. Like I said, the money for me it does not matter. 4,000 is I put $4,000 risk on all the time. It's the ballooning bad habits of in and out, and really over trading, which is a problem here. So I must kick that in the ass right now so then it doesn't come into my Monday trading day, right? So another thing I'm going to do is I like to take off when I have a normal red day, that's just a normal good trading day. I don't take off the following day. When I'm aware, I know myself more than anybody. This is what trading kind of does. When I'm aware that I'm creating, I'm starting to force a little bit, I'm a little overconfident from the streak I just had. I will take the following day off only if this day today, like it did, I had bad habits and was really forcing a little overconfidence and things like that. So tomorrow I will be taking off just to refresh my head, come back and make more money. No expectations, but just to clear my head, right? It's not the money, the loss that I'm clearing my head from. It's the get this overconfidence out of my head, get back to being rational, right? Follow the process. And that's why I'm taking the day off, just to clear my head, have a clear mind, so then I can get back to the process. Um, but that's only because I did have bad habits today, and I'm aware of it, right? And this is what trading is. Your losses are your biggest lessons. I know everyone says that, but at the end of the day, it is true, right? Um, so I'm gonna learn. The winners are just winners, but these losses here are what matter. This is what matters to me, right? Um, so in my opinion, you'll see on Twitter you could post a winner, and everybody and their mother is so happy, but you post a loser, and people don't even want to look at it because it's not relevant, right? He didn't win that, but these are where you learn, right? How do you cut things like that? Over trading, FOMO, overconfidence, forcing, greed, right? I've been making money every day, right? I want to make more money today. A little greedy, right? Very possible. So the key thing is here today. I did control my risk, right? That's the key. But there are other factors that we must, address so they don't follow into my next trade, right? First and foremost, mostly tomorrow I take off because when you do bad trading and you're making very bad decisions, in my head, these are kind of bad. In and out is a bad decision for me. Um, you're more prone to trying to make that money back tomorrow because you're mad at yourself that you made all these bad decisions today. Does that make sense? So when you have a little bit of anger in it, that man, I made bad decisions. I know what to do. Right? Tomorrow you got to make that back. Right? Anyone ever have that problem? I'm sure a lot of people have. Um, so that's why I take off only when I trade bad. Right? I punish myself. Right? This is discipline. This is why I can make money. I'm going to punish myself tomorrow. I don't care if I'm not here. Right? It's fine. Um, so I'll take off tomorrow and regroup. Right? Well, I got to talk to myself. Right? I'm not smarter than the market. Overconfidence. Yes, I made a lot of money in the last few weeks, but at the same time, I could always give it back if I'm not aware, if I don't do this extra stuff here. So we're going to review my emotions for today, and I'm going to set goals for next week. And then during the weekend, I'm just going to not think about the market at all. That's what I do usually. I'm going to go out for a birthday party on Saturday. I'm not going to think about the market at all. Come back, new me, right? Come back as the new me, right? I know it sounds crazy. You got to do all this, but this is what happens when you play a game where nobody is your boss, where no one can fire you. Therefore, you got to punish yourself, discipline yourself, and take initiative, right? It's the only game where you can fuck up every day and no one's going to tell you to walk away. So you got to do all this extra work. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take tomorrow off, regroup, come back, follow the process, right? I know how to make money, right? So sometimes people think, right? And I thought this today, right? I've been doing very well the last 8 days when it was hot, and then you lose, right? And sometimes you're like, do I know how to trade? right? Anyone ever experienced that when you're doubting yourself because you have one loser? A lot of people do, right? Of course I know how to trade. It's just a normal loss in my equity curve, and that's it. Failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. You got to move on, and that's what we're going to do. But you can't just move on and take a loss if you're not going to address certain type of mental, emotional issues that you faced as well. You know, there is a normal loss, like it just didn't work, and then there's a little bit of over trading loss, right? There are normal losses where it's like, well, there's nothing to learn from this. What do I learn from this? Well, it just didn't work, right? Probability. But there are some losses where you're like, okay, I don't have to do all this, all right? So I overtraded TBIO, XCurrent. Mind you, I don't trade this many tickers, rarely trade this many tickers. So right away, I knew I overtraded, right? So how am I going to go about this? Well, we're going to think about all potential psychological problems that I could have faced, right? And we're gonna do it, you know, basically say, did I face that issue? No. Did I face that issue? Yes. Can I fix it? Yes. How? Can I fix it? No. Don't worry about it, right? I don't have fear here, but there's a difference between having no fear and kind of over trading, right? I don't have fear when I trade, but if you over trade, the problem with having no fear and not be, you know, be fearless but not reckless, sometimes when you start getting overconfident, you could start becoming reckless, and you need to be very aware of that, right? And luckily for me, my risk control was excellent, but when you're fearless but not reckless, eventually you become too confident, and you could really get tilted if you don't know what you're doing. So how much did I lose? I lost $4,100. Description of loss we could do. And you got to do this because you got to address these issues, you know? So I'd say, you know, slight overconfidence, right? And this is the shit, no one's going to want to watch this shit because it's boring, but this is like literally the key, but whatever. It's funny because the stuff that's really important, people blow over, right? Today was good trading, but I didn't have this. But I did have slight overconfidence. Correct? You know, in aspect now, thinking about it now, I overtraded. Right? How many times do I say I usually don't get in and out like this? So, overtraded. Right? Risk management was excellent. Well, I will take off. The next trading week. All right, whatever. What can I learn? To walk away. Right? Not overtrade. Right? Not be overconfident. How many people experience this stuff in here? Let's say yes or no. I mean, this is definitely not what people want to see right now, but we can't just go over patterns every day in trades. But we got this is like the most important shit in trading, literally. But if you're an experienced trader, you would understand this. But how many people experience things like this? Yes or no? Anybody? Anybody want to reply? Anyway, whatever. So nobody wants to admit to making trading errors, but overcoming them. Okay. Anyway, so, what can I learn from this? To walk away. Walk away is a good one, but at the same time, the key is not to overtrade, right? The real key is not to be overconfident, because now I've been doing green, green, green. I start thinking I'm smarter than the market, which I am not. So, risk management, follow the process. Get back to it, right? How will I improve, right? Be more selective. Don't force to make money, right? No over trading, right? That's how I'm going to prove. I'm going to go back to my selectiveness, right? And I'm not going to, and get my momentum back. So when I say I'm going back to being selective, I start doing good again and I get my momentum back, and then I read the market good again. It sounds crazy, but it works. So I'm going to go back to my process, right? Get the momentum going, and then when my trading momentum stops, I'll do this again. All right? Does this make sense? How many people in here are going to pretend that they actually do this shit? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, journaling is very important. I mean, it's not going to make a difference the day of, but long term, it helps a ton. Right? So how was I mentally during this trade? And it's going to go back again, overconfident. I mean, overconfident, was the key, right? When you keep making money, you feel like nothing can stop you, and then you get halted, right? Red day. Now, let's get back rational, follow the process, right? The key is, though, just to make sure, like the over trading and stuff, things like that. So the problem here is, if you don't do this stuff, right, and you don't recognize these things, and you don't have to believe me, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. If you don't start realizing these things, you're overconfident or you're over trading, eventually you're going to do it over and over again. You're going to get frustrated, and you might get so frustrated that you might take a huge outlier loss, right? Or size too big to make up for a loss or something like that. It's all about self-reflecting. I mean, that's literally the name of this game, is knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, you can make money. But if you don't self-reflect and do these things, it's long term, it's going to be very tough. Right? So mistakes I made. I mean, this is all like the same shit. Over trading. Add. Piking, retrying. 2 times. And really kind of like forcing trades at some point, right? And that's basically it. Now, for goals for next week, it's not like rocket science, but people just don't want to do this because they don't want to admit, a lot of people don't want to admit their flaws, right? But your entire career, you're going to have days where you make mistakes. Zero perfection, right? So you're going to have days where you make mistakes, right? So it's your job as a business owner, let's say, is to correct those mistakes before they put you out of business, right? It's your foundation of your business. Your foundation is really you and your discipline, right? To make sound decisions in your best interest, right? For your business. So you got to go over these things, right? Imagine this, right, guys? Imagine I didn't do this, right? And tomorrow I came here, which I'm not going to trade tomorrow, but of course, imagine I didn't do this and I didn't have any type of tactics to control myself when I get, I have a losing day or when I trade bad. And then I come here tomorrow, and tomorrow, since I'm so unaware of everything going on mentally, tomorrow I come here, force a trade to make, lose again, over trade, right? I'm overconfident. Imagine I did it again tomorrow. Is that a fool's game? How many people don't recognize the shit. I'm being honest. Don't recognize the shit and come here tomorrow and make the same mistakes again. And sometimes they'll get away with it. But that one time they don't get away with it, that's when they take an outlier loss, right? So when you don't do this stuff, right? Say tomorrow I come here and I'm pissed. Man, I lost $4,100, right? I force a trade. Now I can't be wrong for a second red day, right? I'm tilted. Now I start fighting, right? Something like that, right? Or tomorrow I come here, I size up double because I want to make money today, but I also want to make back money from yesterday, right? It's a fucking mental game. It is a total mental game. And you got to create tactics, right? That's why tomorrow I take off, right? Reset my head. Like I said, I don't have to be here every day. Reset my head, come back Monday. That's it. But a lot of people are not capable of doing this. They kind of know what to do. They're not capable of doing it. So, goals, no over trading. Back to the process. Selective. No in and out over 2 time. Right? I want to be humble too. I don't want to get overconfident. Be humble. Market will always humble you. Right? Like I said, this loss doesn't mean shit. But, is there a lesson to be learned here? Yes. Right? I usually don't do this type of trading. So there's definitely a lesson. Right? Mentally, I know is that I'm getting very hot. Right? I was feeling the market getting good momentum. And I was getting overconfident. Right? So you got to understand that because overconfidence could blow you up. Like really. Any questions? It was a discretionary long, right? I do those longs, discretionary longs, but it's not the trade. It's not really the trade. It's I lost one, right? I forgot what one I traded for. Whatever. I lost one. I was so confident, I've been green the last 7 something days, whatever. I can't take a red day today. Luckily, my risk is good, but that's it. So it was just a probability of a spike, which right here it worked, but it was just overconfidence. It's not really about the trades. It's that I control my risk, yes, but mentally, how was I feeling? Well, I felt like I was better than the market, right? Nothing could stop me. Momentum's on my side, right? That's the important part, right? Because like I promise you, people don't like to admit this shit, but I'll openly admit it. All these things is why people boom and bust or they lose, right? You got to do the work and you got to make sure you're not creating bad habits, right? So I fully enforce when I take a loss, and the losses are my biggest lessons. Like, okay, I made a mistake today. Now next week I'll come back and I'll be good. I've been doing this forever. I've been doing the same type of process. But I must review my losses, right? Because say it was just a loss, but then you're like, all right, well, I overtraded as well, and you don't address it. You're gonna start doing it again, and mentally you're gonna start overtrading because you created a bad habit. And if you know anything about habits, once you create them, they're very hard to break. So don't create bad habits. What are some habits do you do outside the trading to reset your mind and come fresh? I go to the gym. I do Wim Hof breathing. But I'm not going to promote all that. That's not why I'm a successful trader. But what I do is over the weekend, I'll go out and have a good time, right? And enjoy myself and just reset my mind. Basically just forget about the market. I zone it out. Then I'll come back on Monday and I'll be rational again. But I'll go to the gym. So this weekend I'll go out and have a good time, enjoy myself. And then I'll come back Monday and I'll do everything I've been doing over and over again. And I'll pretend like today never happened, but I'll be very aware mentally what happened on Friday that I should not do this week, if that makes sense. But yeah, I go to the gym, sauna, Wim Hof breathing. I do all that stuff. But that's not, it comes down to just being capable of leaving the market tomorrow, right? For me, and just forgetting, right? Like it is what it is. But being aware of what I just go over today. Like, okay, next week, just start over, right? So it's always like people take in, and this is something I don't do, but this is what a lot of people do, right? They don't know how to reset, right? They'll take this stuff with them, right? The bad trading and things like that. They'll take it with them. You got to learn how to just reset, right? I know what I'm doing, reset, right? But a lot of people, from losses to whatever, they'll take it into their next trade. And some people take it into their entire career. So, just be very mindful, right? Reflect, things like that, right? Does that make sense? Did I answer your question? So yeah, I'm naturally disciplined, right? I mean, I go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. So I have discipline, right? So what I'll do is I'll be like, all right, Sunday night, I'll meal prep. I meal prep. I'll say, okay, tomorrow's a fresh day. Go to the gym, come to the market, right? Follow the process, and it works, right? I basically reset, right? New day, new me, right? New week, new me. New year, new me, right? Every day, you could reset all your past mistakes and become a better version of yourself. That sounds corny as fuck, but technically it's true, right? And that's kind of how I think, right? And like Friday does not define me, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, I'm just a very positive trader. I'm not negative, right? Positive negativity and trading just doesn't go together, right? So you got to be positive. You got to be positive. You're gonna take a loss all the time, right? And it's just part of the game. You got to be very being positive in trading is just part of the game, right? Because now if I was negative next week, going to the next week, what am I going to start doing? My whole mentality shifted. What am I going to start doing? I'm negative in terms of mindset, not P&L. Revenge trading. Most importantly, I'm going to be scared, right? And scared trading is not good trading. Scared trading can get you in some. Scared trading, you're gonna, yeah, of course you're being, you're scared, but you're gonna, second guess yourself and things like that. So this is basically what I do. I mean, this weekend, tomorrow, I'll just chill, man. You know, I'll go to the gym, sit in the hot tub, just relax, and like I always go back to, right? I always go back to this. I said this on Twitter a while ago. I'm gonna think about my money, right? I don't usually think about money, but in terms of this, I'm very grateful where I am now. If I came in next week, revenge trading and stuff, did I lose respect for myself as a trader over one loss? I mean, but you got to remember, bad trading could really, really fuck you up. But did I lose respect for myself as a trader next week, right? If I didn't reset, yes. So I'm gonna go enjoy my weekend and reset, come back and do it again. But like I said, the most important part is to make sure next week, going into next week, I'm aware of what I did here and not do it again, right? Fool me once, right? But you fool me twice, more like fool myself. Yeah, you versus you, right? Yeah, I'm up around, yeah, 80,000. Yeah, since I started the room, 80,000 or something like that. I don't even know. I gotta look. I still can't get on my fucking broker. Obviously, one RB is a real broker. Uh, but I just can't get on my client for some reason. I don't know why. I just can't get on my client. I don't know the security codes, and some reason their clearing firm they're just not calling me back. And they keep saying this. Like I said, right? So, all right, Goku, good point, right? Because I don't really like talking about. I try not to talk about how much I'm up and things like that, but it's a good point. If it comes to a good point, I will talk about it. Imagine I let bad trading and $4,000 loss, right? Take away the 80,000 I just made since I started the room. Imagine how, what kind of trader am I, right? Imagine. Yeah. So have respect, right? Back to the process. I know what I'm doing, right? We got to cut this shit out ASAP, right away, right? Back to the process. Right? And this is what self-reflecting is. Realizing it and emotional management is key, not doing it again. Make sense, everybody? These are the most important days, right? And of course, the days like today is where the least amount of people are in here, but it goes to show. Um, this is really the most important days because you got to learn how to do this stuff. In my opinion, it's all opinions from experience. You can do whatever you want, but you know, very important. This is, I mean, this is probably the most crucial part is when you lose. Was it a good loss or was it making errors, and how do we correct those errors? All right, so I'll be taking off tomorrow, and I'm gonna go in tomorrow. I'm gonna go in to Monday with a fresh mindset. Right, I'm up a lot already since I started the room, and I'm gonna go into Monday with a fresh mindset. And this never happened. Like it's not the loss. It's just I never traded bad. Right, back to the process. Right, don't let it discourage me. Right, that's not who I am as a trader. I know who I am as a trader. Right, so this is what I speak on, guys. Everybody makes mistakes. But I never believed in perfection, especially with the emotional aspect of trading. I believed in managing it, not perfecting it. Right? If you perfect emotions, then you're an emotionless piece of shit. Right? We all have emotions, and it's not about perfecting emotions. It's about managing emotions, being aware. Right? That is probably the most important part of trading. Easily is the most important part of trading, and obviously risk reward. All right, so yeah. Anyone have any questions before? I guess that's it. I mean, there's not. This is. I mean, we don't have to do an hour, 2 hours every day if it's just going to be a lot of noise. This was the crucial part. Any questions, guys, or opinions? If you guys have opinions, how do you regulate emotions when they come up? Well, I create tactics in my head, right? Like I'm very self-aware. So like a tactic for me was today was bad trading. Tomorrow I take off. Tactic, right? Right? Why? Because I know tomorrow I could potentially force. Is it going to definitely happen? No. So I'll just take off, right? Reset. Um no, it's really not breathing. It's just all in my head. Like I'm just so self-aware. It's just all in my head, right? If I feel I'm going to force a trade, I said this in the past, pre-market that's not, ready yet, what do? I'll watch from a distance. I won't sit at my computer. I'll watch it from my phone and like go sit on the couch and watch TV until they open. Um, you feel emotion before you actually do the action, right? It's your job to notice it right away and instantly react. Make a good decision from that emotion, right? I know it sounds crazy, but like when I feel like I'm gonna force, I will go sit out the office and come back at like 9:15, right? Something like that, right? You come too early that day and you feel like you're going to force a trade, walk away. So there's always ways to do it. You just got to think outside the box a little bit, right? um, you know. But this is the hardest part of trading and people don't like to talk about this, but um they're lying. They're absolutely lying. But that's why you got to get a high EQ, right? You got to be aware. You got to build that EQ, right? It's not IQ. People are smart as shit and still can't make money. Um, so that's basically it. I mean, any more questions? Enzo, did I answer your question? So what happened today when you overtrade? Were you not aware of your emotional state? Well, there's multiple factors, right? I was overconfident, right? So overconfidence could bring overly biased, correct? Right? They go hand in hand, right? So if you're overconfident in your trading, because you're doing great in the market, and you get, you could bring overly biased, right? You see a lot of people have that problem on day ones, right? They become overly biased based off of what? Their data, right? So my emotional state was I was just very confident, um, and I was greedy. Essentially, I was somewhat greedy. I wanted to, make money. I've been making money every day. I wanted to make more money, right? So these are all truths. You got to, people won't admit this stuff, and that's fine. You're not doing nothing but hurting yourself. But that is basically it, right? um, the chart review is I mean the chart review is, look, I gave it a shot, right? Goku, I gave it a try, right? I gave these a try. The chart review is really not a lesson in terms of what I did, right? It was a discretionary long on dip, like a dip, right? The chart review would be like, all right, well, I know I don't go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. That's the lesson on the chart review. Oh, your trade. Yeah. So there's nothing to learn in terms of, it was just bad trading, right? In terms of execution, doing things I usually don't do. So therefore, if I do it that day, it's bad trading, right? I broke the process. I don't usually do that, but I did it today. Broke the process. Let's see your chart. Where's your chart at? Uh, okay. Give me 1 second, brother. See what you said. If I held, it was 4 or 5 hour win. If um, so full size the breakdown. Well, you're doing a lot of reactionary trading, right? So I don't know. You got to tell me, where did you know what you did wrong? I mean, you're just adding, cutting, adding, cutting, adding, cutting, adding, cutting, right? It's not a terrible trade because you're reactive, right? If this is your style, then I can't say it's a bad trade. But what's the question? You got to ask me a question, because I can't. I'm not just going to say this is the wrong way to trade, because there are people that do make money doing reaction trading like this, reactive entries, exits. Um, but I don't know the exact question. Uh, I was three quarters full size front end. I think that was a big problem. Yeah, yeah. So then go smaller on the front side, cut it, and then when it confirms, add in, right? So you could go smaller, right? And then you could add in under VWAP or something, a second VWAP fail, or like a triangle breakdown, something like that, right? Um, Not much I could do here in terms of this, because I don't really trade this way. Um, yeah, like you usually know what not to do, right? You're just asking for confirmation, but like usually you know. This is why it comes to being confident and trusting yourself a little bit. Um, I don't usually do this personally, but yeah, I mean, you get hit, you could let it squeeze out. Remember how I said let it build that shelf? Let it do like a failed breakout right here. Short it and then add into the winner, right? Um, yeah, but in terms of my trading, you know, that's the lessons for today, and I think it's a good lesson, right? Because I don't want to just show everybody the good parts of trading. There are days where you gotta admit stuff to yourself, right? Not every day is a good day, and trading is not all sunshine and rainbows, right? These are the things you got to do, right? The best traders make mistakes. The best traders come through a psychological problem, but the best traders are aware of it, and the best traders fix it, right? Um, so that's basically that. I think we're good. Any questions? Everyone good? So I think these are like the important days. I know everyone wants to see a winning trades, but the reality of trading is um, losing is 100% in the game, part of the game. Um, right, and it's like, is it a good loss or was it? You know, can I learn from the loss? Right. In this case, I 100% can learn from the loss. Before, I don't learn from it, and I do it again and again, and eventually it becomes a bad habit. All right, and you don't want to be breaking bad habits. How many people in here have had bad habits and they can't break them for shit? Because a bad habit's extremely hard to break. Right? You do the same thing, you tell yourself you're not going to do it, and you do it again because you built that bad habit. It's very hard to break a bad habit. All right. Imagine every bad habit in trading. I know this is like a weird way to look at it. Imagine every bad habit in trading was you got to quit smoking every time you got to break a bad habit in trading, right? You got to quit smoking, right? How hard is it to? How hard would it do that to get rid of 10 bad habits? You got to quit smoking 10 times, something like that. I know it's a weird way to look at it, but I look at things a lot in weird ways. But imagine that. It's very tough to break a bad habit. So you got to be aware of it before you mold that bad habit and kick it right in the butt. You know? So today's trading was not bad habits in terms of long term, but it was a short term bad habit that I have to recognize right away. And that's going to be your entire trading career. Literally, your entire career. You are going to have to notice these things to stay in this game. And it's not me just saying that. This is one thing to you. I will promise you that. So I can't promise much, but I can promise that for sure. Anyway, guys, I think we're good for today. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to, put too much information in people's heads and ramble. All right, boys and ladies, if there's a female in here. All right, guys. Take care, man. Hope this helped you guys. And if it didn't, it would help you learn how to fix these habits. Because I'm sure if you're in this room, I'm pretty sure if you're in this room, it's not the patterns. You have some type of emotional problems that you got to figure out in trading. Pretty sure. All right, fellas. Take care.